Karen Holton TV presents the Aliens and Angels podcast. Meet experiencers, contactees, abductees, ET human hybrids, and more weird paranormal states of reality. Hi, everybody. We're having some technical issues this morning, so please bear with me. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So we got a few regulars up on the stage here. Just hang on, everybody, and hang on your hats while I figure this out. So for the general audience, welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast 2026. In this episode, I invite my members and my regulars to the stage to share their 2026 predictions. And since I have such a well-informed and spiritual community, I know that they are going to come up with some humdingers. And as for these predictions, are they true? Well, we just got to wait and see. Who knows? But I want you to join me in the live chat, and you can share your questions and your comments. All the links are featured below in the description. I want to thank everybody in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends. And I just want to remind everyone that channel memberships are available if you'd like to receive my perks and help to support the channel. Now, without further ado, we have our wonderful Fearlessly Phoenixing. We have our Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot in the house today. Now, we also have Denise, and for some reason, she is actually my new administrator. So while I'm often doing my shows, or especially when I'm doing my solos, she's helping me to add comments to the stage and make sure there's no shenanigans. Of course, I don't have to worry about that with you guys, but you know what I mean. And she's just been so wonderful, but she's sick today. So she'll add herself if she has a voice comment. Otherwise, she will just stick to the chat, not because she has to, but because she's not feeling good, and I didn't want to make her work too hard. So with that, on that happy note, I am thinking, let's go to the comments. And I just want to say hi to the people who aren't on stage. Helena, how are you doing? Did you want me to add you today to the stage? And of course, we got Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot and family. Oh my God, I've been loving you guys' videos. You know, I can't tell you how much pleasure I get from watching you, tromping through the woods and making all the discoveries. And I feel like I'm there with you. It's really, really a lot of fun. I want to recommend everybody go and check them out, especially if you just want some down home, people who just have such a lovely take on spirituality. Okay, we've got Mark Dicarias in the house today. We've got Willard Wright 7023 today. And we have, well, of course, Helena. What does Helena have to say? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really having trouble with my screen today. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. We'll just get through it the best way we can. So on that happy note, why don't we start with Fearlessly, and why don't you introduce yourself, tell people, what you're about. I know you had a podcast before, and you're going to be doing some subbing for me in March while I'm away. So just wonder if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Phoenix. I go by Fearlessly Phoenixing. If you were here, or maybe it was in Jay's, but I explained the whole aspect of why Phoenixing and Fearlessly Phoenixing came to be. But it's definitely reminiscence of burning up what isn't you and allowing those ashes that are truly you to create that new you, while always like maintaining those pieces of yourself. I did have a podcast, and I'm looking to get back into the game. It's been a journey of figuring out where I stand with the way that the world has really changed with spirituality. I don't like personally using psychic and mediumship as like titles. I prefer like intuitive guide, because I'm there more to help people figure out themselves by like being a mirror to them, but like helping them find themselves through, like, you remember when Alice goes down the rabbit hole and there's all those like mirrors in the rabbit hole? That's what I feel like I am for people. And it's been a beautiful experience being a part of Karen's community, and I'm so grateful for it and getting to meet all of you guys, wonderful people. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And February, I'll get to come on to Karen's podcast, but I'm looking forward to March, and I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm looking forward to all the predictions that we throw out today.
Awesome. Yeah, it's February the 8th. We will be having Fearlessly Phoenixing on. And I love your handle because it really explains so much. And you're such a wealth of information. And I think we're here for community, but we're also here to share what we know, what we've experienced, or even just our intuitive understanding of things. And of course, none of us have to agree. You go onto live chat in some groups, and boy, you say one thing that differs from the yeah, exactly. It differs from the group or the leader, and everybody goes nuts. And we don't do that here. Of course, we don't put up with any shenanigans either, but we have a high level of respect for what we know. And we're all looking at this reality from different perspectives. And each perspective, we know stuff. And so by not arguing or fighting or shunning each other, we get to learn from each other. I think that's super, super important. So let's turn it over to my dear friends, Matt and Jim. And by the way, if I ever get your names wrong, I do apologize, but I do my best. Come on and tell everybody what you guys are up to, and who are you and how did you get here?
Well, hello, Karen,
Hey, Karen.
and Fearlessly, and Denise, wherever you're out hiding back there somewheres. Appreciate you having us, Karen, inviting us. Uh, well, we're just been January here in Tennessee has been in the 40s, and we're like, what in the world? Lows at night. So we've been camping. We went to Kentucky and down in Coker Creek doing some golden painting, and so we got back yesterday,
Day
day
before.
before yesterday,
Yeah.
and so we have firewood stacked up to the guru, and we don't have any cold weather, but we're just like, okay, we're enjoying the weather, and
Yeah.
so we're just happy
nice.
to be here, and that's about it. We're not nothing exciting going on here. What do you think, Matt?
And we've just been a little campers just enjoying the great outdoors, and then creatures and such came upon us one night, and we're just like still exploring the wilderness, having fun out there. And then these creatures comes in on us, and they're saying hi to us and such. So that's how we got into this whole Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot
Yeah,
stuff.
how we got into this mess, being out in the woods and running into things.
They just came on to us, and we're like, well, okay, hi.
That's awesome. But you're also a tree whisperer, aren't you? Like you communicate with the trees, and they're so old and so patient, and so wise. And I've always talked to trees. So to me, that's totally normal. And I was really excited to find out you do too. So there's so much information, especially because the world of humanity kind of full of bullshit. I'm sorry, but it is a lot going on, and a lot of it is fake, even by the well-intentioned people. The trees never lie. I actually find only humans lie, and even other beings, spiritual beings and ETs and stuff, they don't lie, but of course they're all sort of telepathic, and they don't, there's no point in deception, and they're not interested in deception. So I see things really coming to a head for 2026. I'm excited. I see different timelines, and not all the timelines I see come true. So sometimes I share them, sometimes I don't. I had a vision about 3 weeks ago where I saw what our world looks like if the WEF get their wicked way with us after 2030. and it was not pretty. I haven't shared it yet. I will share it, but I don't want people to think that's inevitable. It's not. So timelines, I see different timelines all the time. And then, as I often say, I think we're quantum mechanics, where we're here to correct the quantum. And everything we do makes such a difference. And the spirit beings, and even the trees and other beings we don't necessarily think of as being beings, like crystals and stuff, they're aware of it too. And they're aware of us. So it's really pretty exciting. I'm wondering, I know you have a bit of gift of foresight, fearlessly. Do you want to talk about what you see as potentials for 2026? It doesn't mean that you're absolutely on the money. You don't have to be held to that. But, from what we've experienced, especially over the last 5 years, now we kind of can make some assumptions as we see stuff coming. We're kind of more prepared for it. What's your take on what you think is going to happen in 2026?
So just before I quickly go into that rabbit hole is you mentioned that even the crystals know. And something popped to mind was like, isn't it funny that like the number one timekeeper is crystals? Like, and it was always one of my favorite things when people would be like, crystals don't have energy. I'm like, then why is there quartz watches? But obviously, like, crystals have to play into time. But so something I always tell like many clients and everything like that as well, just because a lot of times people take predictions as like, this is what it is and this is the only way and how dare you, blah, 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 is that like everybody has free will. And the only thing I have power over is me. And that's for everybody else as well. But what we can see is when you start to see in masses of things. So right now, all over the place is a lot of talk of time shift, timeline splitting, everything like that. Now, no, not everybody is going to have it right and everything like that. We're all still human. But the reality is the fact that when we see something coming up in like masses, it means that there is something to that. And now that being said, is I think that we are going to find that the first shift is going to be within us. People have been going through this for we're going on 6 years now since, lockdown and everything. And like I always say, is everything that comes to be has a positive and a negative. So like, for example, when I found like the paperwork for global governance from 2012 that had a mock play out of what 2020 could look like, and it matched where this bureaucrat was stuck in Australia because there was a mass pandemic and everything, that was written in 2012. So the fact that like they've already seen certain attributes, what they can't control, what nobody can control is everybody else in the factoring. And so I think what we are going to experience is a lot of this timeline shifting within ourselves and within our paradigm of things are going to be coming up from the past. I think there's going to be a lot of you move forward or you get stuck. And by stuck, I don't mean you can't move forward. I mean that you're going to find that it's almost like hitting a wall consistently until you face those things, because I feel like a lot more is going to be coming up. You may not notice it right off the hop. It might come up in like dreams. It might come up as like little, almost like itches to the soul that you're going to kind of like ignore it, kind of like a mosquito bite. But then sooner or later, you're going to scratch it and it's going to bleed. And that's going to be your invitation to, are you going to see it for what it is and allow yourself to heal through it and appreciate the healing process? Because that's the thing, is nothing about us is ever done out of maliciousness. All of our survival things have gotten us to this point. The problem is what got us through that is no longer, I always say it's like running from a bear. You were able to run like heck and you were able to survive from that bear. But now you're still going through those motions, but there's no bear. So it's actually burning you out. It's not helping you. It's not helping you survive. But because we are creatures of routine, and the more it routinely, consistently goes, is it's like we keep putting a lens over top. So, and I always say it's like interest, and each unhealed thing is like debt and interest, and each of them create a new lens that we're looking through. And until we start breaking those down, until we start paying that off with our like understanding, is we're going to keep hitting that wall. Because I believe 2026 is we're really going to be finding ourselves, meeting ourselves. And there's going to be almost like this sense of seclusion that isn't like seclusion. It's that you can't project yourself onto anyone else to get where you want to go without dealing and healing with yourself. Because no matter what, there's going to be these changes within masses that people are going to either hit that wall or they're going to start to take it down brick by brick. And the people that are taking it down brick by brick, that brick's going behind them. If you choose to stay behind a wall, you're going to keep hitting that wall and you're not going to go forward with them. And so I think that this year is really going to be about meeting yourself and seeing that the mirror has many dimensions and that we can grow through it or we can be stagnant, but that we're never permanently stagnant as long as we choose. Like, nobody's going to be left behind if you choose to not be left behind. Like, you can always catch up. You can always come. You're always loved and always welcome, but nobody else can heal you but you. That's what I feel is coming for 2026.
Wow. Yeah, that's really, really very profound. I have found in my work with myself and other people, it seems to be people are not wanting to do shadow work, not wanting to go through the dark night of the soul. And I don't know, I guess other people can learn different ways, but for me, boy, I really had to get down and dirty. And it doesn't mean that my journey's over and I'm all enlightened now and all that in a bag of chips. Not at all. In fact, it's constant for me. So I have levels of awakening as to seeing what's going on. And each time I can see a broader perspective of what led up to this, what's going on. And then do I want to participate in it? Probably not. And I'm my own really good company. I like being with me. I like being with my cats. I love being in nature. Like, I don't have to go to social events and be around a lot of people. In fact, I know this isn't going to sound very nice, but I have hard time being patient with people who are stuck on a rock where I used to be 35, 40 years ago. And you can't tell them, you can't share them, you can't help them, you can't even give them a hand out. They got to go through it when they're ready. And oh my gosh. So I have a difficult time with social interaction because of that. But I think you're very wise, fearlessly phoenixing, because we do need mirrors. We do need mirrors. And sometimes the lessons are not fun. But I think that you're right. I think a lot of people are going to find themselves staring at the mirror in 2026. So Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot, guys, what's your take on 2026? Do you have any intel or just even opinions based on what you know so far?
I'll go through my little notes and then let's see where Matt goes. He goes, I'll go less, I don't even know what you call it, less psychic, less, I don't know. We'll see where you go. But I just want to say, in the last few days, week, since before we met last time, everything's kind of going off in the world. Venezuela, Iran, Mexico, Greenland, And so I'm looking at all this and, I'm coming to this meeting going, we're going to try to give predictions after. And I'm like, whoa, we've got a lot going on that's kind of blowing your mind right now. I'm going, how is all this coming together? And, that's one thing, I guess what I could see is the corruption in the government. And all that, all the changes that are coming down, worldwide. A lot of people are rising up to see and fight. And I think that's really exciting to see many countries starting to say, hey, we've got to stand up and do something. So that's really cool. These are some of the truth explosions. You've got the food industry getting blown up as far as what they're feeding us. and it's like you said, it's worldwide. Everyone's like, what am I looking at their ingredients? And that's got to change. And we're like, hey, this has got to change. And that's really cool. The education industry is really being revamped. Of course, the government corruption and the money laundering is off the charts. And so, like, whoa, which would help put money back, of course, into people's hands. And then the religious corruptions and all the things that are behind that. 5 years ago, you had to walk lightly around some of this corruption because you could easily get a lot of hate. But so many people are coming on board now and starting to see. So I guess going forward, this is what I've been seeing, what I've been telling people is because we're as a country, our country's about broke as crap. Like many countries, we've been drug under by corruption and so much. But what I can see is with all the eye opening in all these different ways, which starts putting money back in the people's hands. I'm hoping that the confidence in our country, for example, will start coming up. But it's Venezuela. I'm like, maybe I want to go move to Venezuela right now because Venezuela is rocking it. They're coming on, and I'm excited for them. And that excitement is it seems to be spreading. And I think that's so. I'm looking at 2026 this summer to have more consumer confidence because I know people that have Airbnbs and stuff, and they're like us. No one has disposable money, which is money to have fun with. You ain't got money to go camping. A lot of people are not able to do anything, and it's been like that for quite a while. And I know Canada and all these countries are in the same boat we have. They've been robbed long enough, and so now that a lot of those dominoes are falling, that's what I see going on. And I'm looking at my notes here. But anyway, more human purposes, right? Humans are like, we're going to have more purposes for humans. We're done with it. It's a worldwide cry now. All right. So what do you see?
Yeah, I see we ain't gonna take it. The people, it's an upshift gear out of all the other years. This is like the first year I'd speculate from what I'm seeing. It's a full upshift. And when you're shifting in a vehicle and going up in the next gear, you're going the same amount of speeds, but it's going to be more of a load on the motor, and you're still going uphill, but you're able to shift up. So it's a lot of drag, and to break through the wall, break on through to the other side, you got to have more effort and oomph behind you, but you got to have confidence and power behind you to be able to do it. And this year seems like with Venezuela, what Dad brought up, all that stuff, like it's time to push. We have a big enough engine that's able to push the load. So everybody's like, need to get in that gear. It's that polar shift. It's that get past the fear adrenaline that we've been under for many years. We've been blockaded for many years and not to speak and being held back. And now we're again this new feeling of like new adrenaline of like confidence. Like we haven't had that in forever.
Humans
since the 60s, maybe I'm playing, but 80s or something, we had confidence back then. But now it's like, ooh, it's a new thing going on. We are able to push, and Venezuela is able to get their country possibly coming back. All able to move around. We got Australia doing its thing, and that's like the polar shift, the prevailing through the actions in our lives. We're like recognizing we can actually go for it. But that's a big shift this year is what I'm saying. A big shift. But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's awesome. It's funny, while you guys were talking, I imagined, this is just how my mind works. And the picture in my mind that popped in was of a dung beetle with this huge ball of shit that it's trying to roll up the hill, roll this giant ball of shit. And that's all of us. And we're exhausted and we're so close to the top. We gotta just keep going. So, that's just how it popped into my mind. I thought I'd tell you guys. For 2026, like I said, timelines are not set. Okay. So I want to just put that out there before I tell you, because I have seen a huge disaster taking place in New York, New York State, I guess. I don't know what, but it could be as catastrophic as a nuclear bomb, but that doesn't mean it will be a nuclear bomb. And so I see something going on for New York, and I don't really have any of the details, and I'm hoping it's not true. I mean, I would like nothing better than to be wrong. That's why I say that the timelines can change. The factors that would bring that about might actually not happen, and then it wouldn't. So there's that. The other thing is, I see for the United States, where you guys are, I think there's going to be some real surprises. I think that your present government, and I don't take sides because, I think the system itself is flawed. But I know, Denise, you live in New York, and I hope not too. Like I said, I hope not. But that started coming up for me last year, and I just wanted to share it. But at the same time, I hope it's not true. Absolutely. When Denise comments in the live chat, it's coming up as my name. We don't know why, and we didn't have time to fix it. But that's actually Denise commenting, and she's a wealth of inspiration as well. The other thing that I see is ET presence, whether it be, and I think mostly it is transdimensional, but there's another whole slice of this pie that gets people really riled up. I think I want to do a show about it, but there's a lot of people that are starting to believe in the whole flat earth thing, but a flat earth contained by an ice wall that's actually situated on a massive globe. And so to us, it would seem to be flat and contained. And I'm wondering if we're an experiment or what's going on with that. And I'm not saying it's absolutely true, because I wouldn't know that unless I went into outer space myself, which I'm not even sure is real. What is so interesting is when you do the research and go down the rabbit holes of flat earth theory, which doesn't mean a flat earth floating in space, for those who aren't familiar, it doesn't mean that. It means anything. Simulation theory. It could mean, that beyond the ice wall is part of a much greater landmass. And it seems like with what's going on around the world, it seems our globe is shrinking. Well, if it is a globe, I don't know, but our world, let's just call it that, is shrinking, and it doesn't look like it's that big anymore, where when I was growing up, I thought it was so massive, right? And so if there's other continents and other beings and other things, that might be our outer spaces. So I've actually seen more evidence for that than I have for a globe. But that doesn't mean that it's absolutely one way or the other. I lean towards simulation theory. But I do know that the world we live in has so much more intelligence than what we were taught. And I knew that as a little girl. I can remember before I was even in kindergarten going out and talking to the trees and the flowers and the bees and the caterpillars. That was my world. And I absolutely knew that there were beings that we couldn't see that surrounded us. So I don't want to take over the whole show with my opinions, but I'm just saying I see some positive and some negative. I also think that we need to really stay grounded, because it's going to be a bit crazy making. All this confusion gets thrown at us, just the whole Charlie Kirk thing on top of Candace Owens on top of, and just goes on and on and on. It's like every day we're being bombarded with it. So I think it's really important for me to stay grounded, look after my health, and to watch you guys' videos on your YouTube channel, because then I get to go out into nature. And it's funny, I love nature so much, but I'm pretty much snowed in. Fearlessly, it lives in Canada as well. And although it is warming up now, we have periods where it could be as cold as 45 below 0 centigrade. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. But there are days, even weeks, where I won't get outside at all. But when I watch your shows, I can't explain it. I'm connected to the outdoors. I can smell the smells. I can feel the crunch of the leaves under my feet. I feel like I'm hanging with you guys. And I really love your dog. How old is your dog anyway? That baby just tries to keep up with you as best she can. And yeah, she's a real beaut too. And yeah, so thank you for that. Thank you for that, because anytime I just am feeling housebound and, stale air, trapped in the house and too cold to go out, I just put on your channel and I go for a hike with you guys. And I'm telling you, it does my body and my spirit and my emotions good. So I just want to thank you so much for that.
Cool.
So where do you guys want to go from here?
I've just got a couple points. Fearless, you want to jump in before me?
I just wanted to say, in regards to what Karen had mentioned about your guys' videos, is that there's a very big difference between people with a camera and people with like a divine camera. And any camera can become a divine camera, but it's like the soul connectivity that creates that channel, that like you are able to feel that in their videos, because they aren't just using a camera, they're using a divine, like, channeled source camera that also anybody can stumble upon it. They might not quite feel it as an understanding of it, but those who are connected to it will feel it fully, because it is like this plugging right into your internal senses. And that's something that I find very, very different between a lot of content out there, is like when you feel, because anybody can use the most in-depth like technology, whatever, or anybody can use the like most garbage camera, it's the connection of the person recording it through themselves that brings it back through. And that's where, like, I find your guys' channel, it's because there's a divine camera, and it's not the camera itself, it's the camera that your guys' energy captures it and shares it and amplifies it for like everybody who connects to it and chooses to. There's, even if you don't understand the connection, you'll still feel something there. But it's those who like truly connect to it that feel it and understand it.
Okay, thank you. You want to say something?
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, thank you. I mean, that's one thing we've been trying to figure out what the purpose of YouTube is, for a while, and so we're, I think it's, we used to do a lot of videos, and then we've got caught up on everything. You know how life is, and you go in all kinds of directions. And recently I was like, let's just start putting out videos out in the nature like we are and sharing that. And it is really about trying to share our love of the woods so people can, there's a lot of people that can't get out. And so I'm like, well, it is kind of nice to be able to put out something for, some of the people that can't go climbing up on these mountains, and just give a general day of walking in the woods. And that's, so thank you for the good words on that. 'Cause I mean, it's rough. Dana went on her first Kentucky trip, but she didn't go on the second one because it's rough, sleeping out there in a truck and all that stuff. But we feel it's important to try to put out, show the woods, because that's part of people returning to the woods and go, man, I need to go out in the woods. That was, so I'm hoping that's helping.
Well, I do want to say one thing before we get off the topic, but yeah, he's always been on the camera. He always told me and Mom whenever we're controlling the camera, something like that. He's always like, get that camera, stop shaking, put that energy into it. He's the master of the camera. He picks up the energy. He tries to, like, whenever he was in the military and such like that, he worked the camera to the point where everybody got used to the camera, and it's an art. He played them to catch the realness of everybody in the whole military ordeal that y'all were doing. And that's one thing he always showed me. It's an art, and that's pretty interesting that Fearless brought that up, and that's coming from the master.
The master.
The keeper of the divine camera, then, hey?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I was a base photographer, and I was into photography way before YouTube even existed. So I was doing videos and stuff. But like I was telling you, it's about getting that emotional thing and getting people, putting out content that people could enjoy, or you could share emotions and stuff. So I mean, it's definitely art.
It's a capturing of the moment when it's needed. It's cool.
But it's more than just a recording. Like, for instance, when you went to those burial mounds, and before you even started, you did the ceremony, you burnt tobacco, and which I'm assuming you grow yourself. It looks like it was homegrown, right? And sage and different things. And then you went around to all these really look like ancient burial sites, and you left gifts, you left tobacco, and I think it was sage, correct me if I'm wrong. And you also planted seeds for wildflowers to come up in the spring. And you did that over and over again to all these grave sites. And it really touched my spirit. It fed my spirit. It fed my spirit. And anytime I actually have that video bookmarked so that I can go back and watch it again anytime I need some for my spirit to be replenished. I could feel the spiritual energy, even though it's now later, it's a recording, it's not the original, but it's still, I can't explain it. Maybe you guys can, how when we're outside of the 3D or even inside, we can go to places where time and space are irrelevant. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely time and space up there is irrelevant. There's nothing there. Nobody goes there. I would say that most of this that came from Scott, the Bigfoot that he talks to, we were, a few years ago, we were gifting, and his birthday comes along when the popular tree drops that flower. That's how he knows when his birthday is. And so we were like, let's make Scott a cake. Scott's like, not really. Let's make him apple. Not really. And I'm so confused because, we all want things, and I couldn't figure out what I could do to give a Bigfoot a good gift. And he kept handing on about kind of like bless the land. Hey, Henry, he kept on, he kept on about blessing the land. And we're like, huh? And so we're like, fine, that's so just whatever. So we went and sat down and burned some tobacco, but that started like activating my DNA, my Cherokee blood. I'm like, there's something here this reminds me of something. And then, we did that. And then there was another place that we went to that had some bad energy. And we couldn't find out there was a feud there. And the mother was laying basically there where this big tree was, where she had died. And it was bad energy. And so we burnt tobacco, and come to find out it really cleaned up, and it helped them move on to help their ancestors. And so the more we did, the more you feel your heart calling you to, hey, there's people that need help that are just kind of stuck in the spirit world or whatever. And then that journey up there to Kentucky, I was like, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? You start thinking from your heart, and that's where a lot of people are moving. They're moving from thinking from their mind. They're moving towards their heart. You're starting to see a lot of that. But I'd have to admit it, that was from Scott, because the Bigfoot was kind of like, he likes to go. He had thanked us one time for being up in Kentucky, because we went up there and sat down and relaxed and calmed. We just being there. Humans have the ability to just make land better by just being a positive person and going there.
Relaxing. For what I was saying from Scott at the time, and still is current, is he just likes walking into an area that doesn't have a iggy biggy about it. He's so used to walking all over the place with iggy biggies all over. I mean, going through war areas. Hey, Daryl. But he walked through all those type of grave sites and stuff that's been abandoned, and it's just like lingering spirits, and it's like no rest with the spirits. So whenever there's an area like that, he's used to it now, and just it's one of those fatigues you don't recognize. One of those things that Dad always talked about whenever he was truck driving. Get rid of any fatigues in your life, because it'll really mess with you going down the road. Just a little rattle in the gear shifter. It'll annoy you the whole time all the way out there, and one of those energies, things of the ground, got to get respected back. Take that energy and turn it to positive, fruit it somehow, and that fatigue of that area won't be there no more. It's like you do one good decision, fixed one problem, well, now you don't have to throw the whole project away because that was the one problem that was really the problem. You know, if you fix the one problem, you don't have a problem with it no more. But yeah, it's pretty much upshifting.
I wanted to follow up on Karen's analogy of some of the possible things that could happen as far as flooding and all that. And there's a couple of things going on. First of all, Gaia has told us that she has birthed some children. I don't want to say how many because that's for some reason it's going confidential. But anyway, So if they mess with certain parts, she'll make a tidal wave. I mean, you got to be careful. And the government probably knows all that stuff. But anyway, that's one thing. The main thing I want to talk about is Gaia herself. Earth is no different than Mars and Venus, except for Mars and Venus made the choice not to support life. Those are spirits in those planets, right? We don't realize that Mars has a spirit. Venus has a spirit. Gaia went the hard route. She chose to support life. It's easy to say, I'm done. I'm not supporting it. It was easy. And so that being said, that's, Gaia is kind of setting the pace for a lot of these other planets, whether these planets will try again to support life or not. It really depends on if we as humans can get along with Gaia. I mean, it really is. Because, if we can't come to appreciate and love the flowers, and we can't come to appreciate and love the earth that we walk on, I don't know if Gaia will do it. And then you're going to get your lessons. You're going to get your floods, and you're going to get your earthquakes. So, we'll see here. But anyway, that's important point that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize that Mars doesn't want to live right now. Doesn't want to support life, and it doesn't have to. Mars can. I mean, there's people living under the land, but until Mars just chooses, and that would be, like I said, we're kind of like setting an example whether any plant will want to support life, because life, it's got to be respected, or if there's not a mutual plan going on, you're not going to, And the civilizations, I think Matt was going to say something about this. We've just realized recently you got the air civilization, and then you've got your water civilization, then you got your land, and then you got your underland, and that's amazing.
That's very amazing. The air civilization, because most people, including me, when I first heard that from Gaia, I was like, the heck's air civilization? I don't see nothing around me, right? Well, those are the interdimensional beings. When you die, spirit's on the other side. Where is it at? It's in the air, is what I saw from Gaia. She showed me that's the air civilization right in between us. The spirits, orbs, and anything that flies in between us. Those are the air civilizations. And they're a full civilization. Do they blend and work with us? Well, kind of, but it's kind of hard to. Just like the water civilization, it's kind of hard for them to talk to landmass people. You got dolphins, they talk and such, but yeah.
And we've seen, you don't see them so much anymore, but used to, even 10 years ago, see all kinds of clips that people had recorded of dragons in the sky and things that look like centipedes or even wormy like things, but they're made out of light or plasma. So I think the whole plasma realm might be also part of what you're talking about. And there's so much more, but the thing is that all of us are kind of addicted to screens, including me. I have to constantly regulate my screen time or be really choosy what I'm showing on my screen, because there are forces that want us to believe the only thing that's important is making more money, having fat lips and a fat butt, or and on and on and on. Entertain. I'm sorry, I have no filter.
I love it.
I have no filter.
You're right on it.
You know what I mean? And it's all about that. And you put on, all these news agencies, and there are always women with sleeveless dresses and high heels showing off all their legs and stuff. Guys don't have to do that. Like, what the hell's going on here? Guys are all covered up. They don't have to be showing all, it's insanity. And I just shake my head and go, whoa. And I live in such a different world. And then that isolates me socially very much. Relatives, people that were my friends for years and years, even, people I might meet at the sauna or when I say sauna, I'm talking about the rec center. We have recreation centers with pools and saunas and stuff here. I don't actually have one. And you can it's really difficult to have meaningful communication, which is, again, why I started my channel, why I started my shows. I wanted us to be able to come together and share ideas and our passions and the things that breathe life into our lives, because we don't need to have a materialistic, reductionist bullshit life. And I don't mean any disrespect for those that haven't woken past that yet. There are many who will not wake up past it. And I just kind of feel sorry for them. Kind of sucks to be them, I'm not saying that I'm a better kind of person, but I just have a completely different perspective. And so I'm so grateful that I have friends where I can be completely honest. I can talk without my filter and not worry about offending people. It's just the most wonderful, wonderful community. And you've all given me so very, very much. And I appreciate and love you all very, very much, and hope we'll see each other more. You know what I keep forgetting to tell you guys is when you're a guest on my show, you can come in ahead of time. I probably should share out the link ahead of time, and you can set it up to stream to your own YouTube channel too. And then you can do what you want with it. You can cut pieces out of it, and you can actually, I'm giving you permission right now to download any of the shows that we're on and cut pieces out that help, that you want to present to your people or to your audience, or however you want to do it. I'm very much about sharing information. I don't like secrets. I grew up in a world full of secrets and bullshit and lies, and I am not doing it anymore. And that's that. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'm wondering, Fearlessly, we haven't heard from you yet on some of this stuff. So do you want to tell us your thoughts?
Wow, I'm actually surprised that my brain remembered. So when you guys were talking about how Scott and his wanting to bless the earth, I had like this image of the fact that we are such like unique creatures, us humans. It's like I pictured it almost like these balls of energy giving back to the earth through like this, making it calm. Because you know how we always say like you can feel the tension in a room? Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what like it feels like in the earth. And so like I just picture us like if we connect to the earth, which like that was something I wanted to mention earlier about grounding, is that people need to like learn to listen to themselves, because no matter how much you Google on the internet, it's never going to tell you what your heart can tell you. You might find something that stands out to you, that this might be the way I might want to like ground, but just don't be afraid. You can't do anything wrong. If you just like flow with it and you allow yourself, maybe it feels like you want to put your hands down into the dirt. Maybe you want to sing something that doesn't even make sense. Maybe you just want to lay there with your eyes closed and feeling the sun on your face. You don't have to do anything that anybody no matter how much somebody may know, they are not you. How you connect is fully your own, and only you can know what feels, because you can do the step-by-step guidance to what somebody tells you, but guess what? It's not going to be giving back those energy back into the earth, because it's not going to feel like you. It's going to have this holded pattern, because did I do it right? Okay. Do I do this now? No. Like, feel yourself. Sometimes you might feel the energy to, like, I remember when out of nowhere, I got this urge to burn bay leaves. I had never heard of it anywhere. And I felt it. And then I found out 2 years later that this was a thing somewhere. But I didn't want to learn things because I didn't feel like it was mine. And I do what feels like me so that I can connect to it. Because I find too many of us get caught up in, well, the gurus say, or, you know, the person with 500,000 followers, this is how they connect. And you're like, that is great, but how do you connect? And do you walk away truly feeling connected? Because you can do everything, but you're going to be searching for the feeling that they're telling you, because nobody can tell you what meditation really feels like. Nobody can tell you what connection really feels like to you. They can only tell you what it feels like to them. And to abide yourself to the guidelines to somebody else's connection is doing a disservice to you and to the purpose in which you are attempting to do. And so that's where like people need to connect and ground in. But that's where I could totally see like Scott being like, yeah, just replenishing the earth with that divine gift that we only as humans can provide, because it is that giving it back. And we're saying hello, we're saying we love you, we're giving that gift of, you know. And it was also interesting the fact that when Karen had mentioned about something happening in New York, I too got something of water and a wave, which was interesting when you mentioned the fact that a tidal wave, and I always screw up what like tidal wave synopsis. I can't even get a hurricane and a tornado the same in my brain. So, but I remembered I saw like this whoosh of water, and I was like, my geography is not that great, but I'm pretty sure they're by the water. But when you said it, I was like, oh, okay. But I was curious if, Karen, if you felt any changes with all the chaos that has ensued over the last little while. Have you felt increased or decreased in these like feelings of what might happen?
No, well, yes and no. Okay, what has been coming up for me is I've been able to see it all as all of it as theater. We don't really know what's going on, and we know that the news, it used to tell you what was going on, but then they passed a law, I don't know how many years ago, a while ago now, where they said the news is just entertainment. Don't ever expect it to be more than entertainment. And so whatever's going on in the world, a lot of it, I think we don't know the real story, because everybody's into this Machiavellian stuff where Russia's our enemy, China's our enemy, we can't trust them, we got to do this and get AI before they do, because if they get it first, they're going to ruin our quality of life and our democracy and all of that. Now, I think all of that is theater. I bet you if you went to Russia and you spoke to the people, you'd find assholes and some really sweet people. You'd find everything, the whole mix, the same as everywhere. And so since I've been seeing it more as theater, I'm not as upset or triggered by it. And the more I make friends in, well, I would say our genre, loosely calling it our genre, I'm not sure what to call it, the better I feel. So what I'm really doing is connecting to my body and my body sensations that give me the feedback as to whether something's good for me or not good for me. And that includes what I put in my mouth, what I listen to, what I watch, people I'm around. It's when the body, and I didn't trust it for years and years. My brain would say, oh, Karen, you can't really think that about so and so. How do you know for sure? They might be the nicest person. No, it turns out my initial knee-jerk reaction was right. And how many years? Now I'm almost 70 years old, and I'm finally listening to my body, what I eat, what I do, the music I listen to. I got to tell you something that's off topic, but it's kind of funny that I did just in the last month. I didn't realize how many spiritual things I had collected over the years, crystals and all kinds of smudging implements and different kinds of things that you can smudge, sweetgrass, cedar, you name it. I had this stuff everywhere, but it was I wasn't using it. I wasn't benefiting from it. So I took a tote and I put everything in that tote. everything spiritual. I've got a rabbit
Me too.
pelt in there. I got my long hair that I cut off in there. Like, it's ridiculous. All this stuff I put in there, and then I put it under my bed so that I figured the energy can hit me while I'm sleeping. But well, at least once a week, I pull out the tote and I bring out all my smudges and things, and I invite the cats to come and jump up on my bed, and I go through each one and I let the cats smell it and see what they think of it, and I smell it, and there's nothing more, I know this is going to sound really weird, but there's nothing more exciting than even just taking out my smudge sticks and just smelling them and letting that go into my body and wash through my soul. And what a beautiful way to spend the afternoon. So I might put on some, Solfeggio music, and I go through all of this and the crystals and see what the cats think of it and ask them. They seem to really dig it, hanging out with me, going through all my stuff. So, I mean, that's a completely different world. A lot of people would think, what a waste of time. You should be making money. You should be working out. You should be making big dinners and inviting a bunch of people. You should be doing. No, I can't do any of that. I do what I need to do. So I thought I wanted to throw that out there for other people who might want to try that. And another thing I wanted to add that's a little off topic, but I recently discovered an amino acid called glycine, Glysine. And I started taking it. Holy smokes, within a week, I noticed a big difference. I'm going to keep taking it and see what happens, and I'll have to do a whole show on it. But it's sweet. And, sugar is not good for me, and I don't do any of those artificial sweeteners, and I don't do too good with sweeteners. And then I found an amino acid that's sweet, and I can put it into anything. It's delicious in coffee and everything. And I thought, why has nobody come out and told us? I went for years and years and years on diets and so many things. Nobody told me. No doctor ever told me about glycine. And that's just one thing. What about all the other things that I didn't know about? So I'm really into experimenting and trying to get healthy so that I can put my best foot forward and have a good life. I deserve it. Everybody does, right? Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. We're coming close to the end. I want to give you each some time to talk about if you have any advice for the audience, and also tell people where they can find you. And I'm not sure if you have, do you have activity fearlessly on your YouTube channel, or is it shut down, or would you have anything at all on there? Or I know you kind of want to get back into it. I'm hoping you will. You've got so much to offer.
It has a little bit of like shorts on it, but no, not really. I used to have like a link to the psychic show I used to be on, but I guess they closed their stuff. So no, not really. But I mean, it's there. My email's there, that if anybody ever wants to contact me, I'm on Reddit usually. My name is usually the same everywhere, other than I tried to get rid of the numbers on my YouTube name, and somehow it decided to add 2 extra letters in between. So I have to wait another 8 days before I can change it to Fearlessly Phoenixing without anything else and all messed up. But I'm here. But I mean, February 8th, I'll be on your show, and maybe going forward after that, I'll have some things more focused and like solidified. But yeah, and as far as what?
I was just going to say, don't feel pressured by me just because I'm all excited about you.
No.
Doesn't mean that you're ready for that yet. So please don't take it.
I've been putting it off, and I've found excuses for so long that I need to stop using excuses, because excuses make me unhappy, and having like resentments or jadedness over, like, I have always realized that if you want something bad enough, you will make it happen. And so having to understand why I haven't wanted it bad enough to make it happen is some of that work of figuring out, like, what is it that I'm avoiding with myself? What is it that I'm not, like, And so having made other big changes and like gardening and things like that, even indoors, and that it's helped me ground myself to understand further and make the choices to just follow things. And then instead of when synchronicities happen and things show up at my door, to have the opportunity, instead of being like, no thanks, and then being upset that I haven't done anything, it's time that I either open up the door and like walk through it, or I really look at it and say, no, obviously, but then my heart keeps calling for it, and it has for years. And so I can either live in heartache and woe, or I can just do it and be happy. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's the biggest thing, is just showing up and being authentically me, which your show has really inspired the most of, is not having to feel, so yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And I've loved getting to know you, and you show up in all the best places too, where I show up for the odd live chat. It's really hard to, as a podcaster, to keep on top of everybody else's videos, right? But, often, especially like when I go to see Ryan Burns and stuff, and you're always there too. And it's just so cool, it's like we're part of a big family, and I just love it. So I don't want to pressure you, but if you ever need any inspiration or anyone to tell you that you have an amazing voice, and, I can't wait to have you on the 8th, and we'll just do a whole show together, and then you see how you feel, and if you want to stream that to your channel, you can, I'll send you the link a few days ahead, and you can go in and you can set that up. I'm always open for that. So anyway, and lovely you could make it today. Thank you so very much. And to my two favorite guys, and I mean that in the most appropriate way. Nowadays, you don't know how people are taking stuff, so I thought I would add that. But yeah, what's new for you guys? What are you up to? You're done camping now? So I'm assuming with the spring coming, you've got other things to do. And where can people find you?
Okay, I just have a few notes. I just want to say, fearlessly, you've
Absolutely.
got a spiritual charisma. I keep telling you, and I keep reminding you, you've got a way. I saw you on Jay Skywalker, I think his name was Skyrunner, and and you kept me in the show. I'm like, you can lay it down, and that's really good. It's not, you're like I could talk about cars forever. You got a good spiritual way to explain things. So, just want you to know, to keep reminding you, you've got good charisma on that area. So continue to explain some of this stuff that some of us have a hard time explaining. So, just want to say that. And on a prediction, the one that came to my mind was something about Greenland. There might be something. This is someone else heard this from someone else. So it ain't something come from me, but there might be like a ship or something that melts and they can't move it. So they can't hide it, so that might be another one of the breakthroughs that we see in our world. And let's see. I know we're running out of time, so I'm going quick.
No. Take your time. I want to hear what you have to say. I totally do.
Okay. And I was just saying that news stands for North, East, West, and South, which is like, huh? Okay. Anyway, and tobacco, you were talking about smelling, I think you said basil?
Bay leaves.
Bay leaves. That's the thing is with tobacco. If I smell tobacco, my mind goes to a whole different place.
Yeah.
I'm gone. And like you said, people should pick up rosemary, basil, whatever, and if you just breathe it, see if you don't go somewhere else in your mind. And so that's I don't know what's behind that, but that's something to think about whenever you're, because I'll sit down and burn tobacco, but when I breathe it and smell it, it feels like I'm just like free or something. Ain't it weird?
Yes.
And,
it's very, very, very cool. Rosemary is one of my favorites. Oh my God, I love it. And pine needles, and yeah.
Right. And I think I only had one more comment. It was we ordered folic acid. It's a prescription, and they've been giving it to like kids with autism, and they could talk within minutes. So we heard about this stuff, FOLIC, and anyway, like I said, it's a prescription, but we were able to get it on eBay from China. But anyway, didn't say that, did I? But that's all I got, man. What you got?
Yeah, that's good. What I got a couple little notes. Well, actually, it's just one, and it's like the wall that we're all like kind of facing to go against is what feels like. We got like a wall that's coming up for us for 2026 right here. And it's like, y'all are seeing water and such like that. And it's actually pretty interesting that this might be tying in. It's like, women are so belittled. It's like belittled. They're so belittled, and they all want to show, but you know, all the women are just like, it's hard for them to get a platform somewheres. I think this year is a really good one for all women to finally like get encouragement of like, maybe I could possibly put a kid to school. You know, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could talk about this. Women are the ones that got the, they're the ones that have life in them, that grows life. You know, men, we're the byproducts. I'm playing, but
We are.
women,
Technically.
So who's the stronger one? Who's the power? The women are the power of this earth. God, if it wasn't for the women, we all wouldn't be here. And they say that men are the ones that were first born, and then somehow women came from Adam's rib. I don't know about that theory, really. Sounds like women was first, and the civilization was really good. Then some happened where man was born, and then that process had to be taken place. And the amount of power you have, just walk into the woods. Fearless Phoenix, she was saying, when you go into the woods, she was wondering how the earth would feel for your presence just being there. And I was saying that, well, recognize what the birds do. They are watchers. They watch you. They are looking at you like, what is this creature doing? These humans are not allowed here. I'm playing. But they're very watching. Squirrels will be like, there's a human. There's a human. We see you. You know, they're all yipping. Your power of going into the forest is extreme. And trying to figure out where I was going with it. And women are the ones that has the water in them. You know, for birthing and stuff like that, you are the ones that are the water. The portal. The ones that are putting life into this world. And if women's charisma, that's interesting, but their charisma increases in this world, it more life, more water will come into this world. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm going with it.
Well, I was going to say that women have the what's that word? I always forget. Male. What's that? Tina. The mighty contract. I call it the mighty contract. And see, in the past, I mean, this is what we got from readings before, was women used to dance, and they could crank up this earth.
Yeah.
They got the mighty contract. That's what I call it. Because when they get together, you know, and that's probably one of the main reasons women are oppressed, and the stories have all been flipped to say, oh no, they're just, you know, here for entertainment. I don't even know what the stories are ridiculous. But
it's the blame on women for grabbing the fruit. Like, guys,
all the blame and all the press down. Well, it is to reduce the powers of women to get back to keep Gaia stays balanced with that power. Because I mean, that's good.
It's like the men are the ones that are supposed to help build what needs to be fixed. Fix what's the problem. It's like the American military. We're supposed to be going around the world and fixing corruption. That's where America is supposed to be. We're supposed to be fixing that's why we have a big military, to fix the corruptions around the world the best that we can and keep balance. That's like the masculine way. Fix what is wrong and sweep into the good ways and enforce the good to prevail into this world. And the bad gets punished rightfully, the right amount, you know? And the women are there to rejoice, bring in laughter, and bring in the party. Technically, the women are the party, you know, and if they don't have a home, property, place to get that party going, then it ain't going to happen. You know, there's just going to be a lot of disruptions going on around the world type of deal. That's just what I'm saying.
Good points. Really good points. So where can people find you?
YouTube, TKB, Tennessee Take a Bigfoot. You can also follow Matt. He puts out, we throw stuff on both sides. Logically Insane.
17. You can
Yeah.
find
Now
me.
he's got more views than anybody. He gets like 400,000. The other couple. You know,
Wow.
I always hit him in the head because he, you know, a couple videos and he gets like 500 subscribers. And I'm like, for that video,
Wow.
you lucky dog. He's, you know,
Put out
YouTube
a
is
short.
YouTube's not really good.
Like,
but
damn.
Did you say that your other channel's called Logically Insane?
Correct.
17.
Okay.
You can easily find it. in the search
17.
bar.
Okay, I'm gonna go sub up.
Yeah.
And I got to check and make sure I'm subbed up to Fearlessly too. So we're pretty much out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. We got to do this again sometime. And, you know, if you ever have a subject and you want to come on and talk about it, I'd be happy to schedule you in. In fact, I was planning on Matt and Jim to also invite you back to my one of my shows, maybe February or March, if that's okay. I'll be in touch, and we'll just all keep doing what we're doing, and you know, one way or another, we're going to fix things. I'm really excited about it. I want to thank the listeners, the viewers, whether it's a replay or whether you're listening on an audio platform, whether you made it here today. I want to thank everybody so much. I want to thank Denise. She wasn't feeling well today, but she still showed up and she's been handling the chat for me. And I really, really appreciate you, Denise. And I appreciate you, Fearlessly. I appreciate you, Jim and Matt. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your wife's name, so I never mention her. But it's not that I don't respect and honor her. It's that I forget her name and then I'm embarrassed. So
She's over here laughing. Tina.
Okay, I'll try to remember Tina. Awesome. Yeah, give my best to her as well. So with that, we'll close out the show today. I just want to again thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you if you can make it Wednesday. Let me see. Oh, on Wednesday. No, actually, Unseen Nexus is on Tuesday, and on Wednesday I'm having Eric and Robert Wood. They're a couple of characters, but they have some awesome information. And Robert used to work for the, what's it called? You know, the institute that steals all the giant bones. Smithsonian. He used to work for the Smithsonian, so I always ask him all my Smithsonian questions, and he answers them. And yeah, they do have giant bones there for sure. Anyway, with everything that's going on, everybody take care. Much love, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment, and please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.